The research is in, ladies and gentlemen, and here's the question. Can women keep a secret? And the answer is no, they cannot. On average, within 72 hours of having been told about something they're not to tell anybody, they've told somebody. Things to go over, but I'm going to start with Pretzel Logic. That's right. Imagine a pretzel, and you are now looking at the brain of Lamont, our Yale bimbo. So, why does Mr. Lamont suffer from Pretzel Logic? It would have something to do with what we talked about last week, if you recall. Seems he got a little upset when somebody got a little too nosy about his wife, Annie, and why she was in Tennessee. Just to quote from this article here by Mr. Powell, the Lamont campaign responded hysterically to the most pointed video commercial yet broadcast by the Republican nominee for Governor Bob Stefanowski. So it basically put him on the spot. I mean, it's aside from the obvious stupidity around taking Connecticut and building it as an abortion-friendly state and saying that's good for business, then turn around and say, well, gee, I guess we got some problems here. Yeah, and he had to go to Tennessee because setting up new businesses in Connecticut is a little complicated. Yeah, so it's good to see that Lamont doesn't like this. And so it's a good reason to explore it even more because we're sure there's more there. So let's move on to item number 2. Sometimes Democrats are very good at screwing themselves. The headline is, staff in several House offices to begin the process of unionizing. All right, so 8 House of Representative offices have staff members who have filed to have their office unionized. So I'm not sure how this is going to be recognized. Is this going to be local 193 Ocasio-Cortez's office with their union? What's this going to be? But I just want to point out that if you want to make things go really slow, if you want things to really be unproductive, if you really want to put sand in the gears of any organization, unionize. That's the answer. And so they're going to go and do it to themselves. Have fun. Meantime, I have to bring this up. I'm sure you folks in the audience have seen this in other places, but let's start with the first one. The phone call, the leaked audio of Biden talking with one ex-Ukraine President Poroshenko, where they were suggesting that he might be assassinated if he cooperated with Trump. Well, I haven't read the text myself, and I've read other people's commentary, so I think there's some reason to say this might be a little extreme. And sometimes the use of language can be wonderfully vague. So it's a great headline to get people's attention. However, in this article, it does make the point that, to quote, in other words, Biden does not want Ukraine asking any more money from Trump. Doing so would cause Trump to look into the details. Well, it didn't seem to help much because we certainly found more stuff going on afterwards, after Trump was in office concerning Ukraine. Oh, then this one, okay, it's, how much more? All right. So we have dozens of meetings with Hunter Biden's business partner, Joe and Hunter Biden's business partner. Dozens of meetings, some of them in the White House, some of the Naval Observatory, other places. At what point do we say, you know what, the criminality is so obvious, we're going to have to do something about this? Man, or is she a woman? Is she a man or is she a woman? And so it's in the American Thinker. They are careful about what they print, although they take a certain point of view. And I think of all the things that are said in this article, all right, so here's the provocative question. Was Michelle born a man, and did she have a sex change operation in 2008? What adds to the confusion, I'm not sure she had that sex change operation, because some of you folks out there who are avid fans of this question will remember the clip from the Ellen DeGeneres show where we had Michelle joining the crowd there and dancing. and she was wearing whatever those pants are called, and let's just say something didn't look right, okay? In any event, the one thing that's of interest in this article was they came up with a copy of the voter registration, and it says Michelle Obama on it, but it chose to be identified as a male. He circled the M on the form. So this is from 1994. So what's the story? Don't know. We'll find out. Oh, look, I have great hopes for the Republican Party. I still do. But unfortunately, the Republican Party is populated with a lot of really vile, disgusting people. It's just a fact. And no better example than what's happened in Arizona, okay? So is it K-A-R-I or is it K-A-R-R-I-N? Are we talking about KARI or KARRIN? Kind of like Sentinel and Sentinel, right? The problem here is this woman, KARRIN, who is 30 years the junior of a billionaire that she married. I don't know how you say gold digger, but I pronounce it KARRIN. She's a thief. Ducey endorsed KARRIN for Arizona, duped vulnerable senior citizens out of money she sent predatory texts claiming to raise money for Trump, Truth Social, and the Wall. Well, folks don't even know that they're donating to a pro-abortion rhino, okay? So therein lies that little problem. Now, there's this other thing. The title I put up is the $52 billion CRUTCH for the semiconductor industry. There is this thing, they simply call it the CHIPS bill, which is sort of on the threshold of being passed, maybe. A lot of people are excited about it because, in a sense, this could be a windfall for the semiconductor industry. The only problem is that the semiconductor companies collectively reported over $70 billion in profits last year, okay? So what do they need $52 billion for if they've had that much in the way of profits? Highly questionable, but that doesn't stop them from wanting the money. So I just want to take the audience down memory lane just a little bit and go back to, and it's spelled S-E-M-A-T-E-C-H, Semitec. That was a consortium formed by semiconductor companies to battle the Japanese who were usurping American markets, and the Japanese government was using subsidies, just like these are subsidies, to take on the American market. And the other problem is when you have the federal government getting involved, this is a form of what's called industrial policy. When you have them picking winners and losers as far as technologies are concerned, 9 times out of 10, they're wrong. It's a waste of money, and they pick the wrong horses. So frankly, I think this is a bad idea. A stronger case has to be made for why this money would need to be spent in this way. Just saying. Now this is troubling. Okay, the quote is, more dead bodies than Afghanistan. There have been a number of military veterans who've been down to the border, and to their eyes, as guys who've been in Afghanistan, been in the firefight, seen the results, and then they go to the southern border and they look at this, and they're saying it's worse than Afghanistan, okay? So I'm just going to jump, though, to what I think is the money quote here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, where did it go? The essence of it, is that there is no difference, none, between the Taliban and the drug cartels, okay? Same mindset, same approach to total control, same disregard for human life, and in some areas the same incompetence as well. And so I just, this just adds salt to the wound as far as I'm concerned when we're thinking about what's happening at the southern border. And I could just only continue to hope and pray that there will be some intervention where this human suffering is brought to an end. Just saying. Okay. The title is Dr. Deborah Birx, the sexy traitor. The sexy traitor that she is. Okay, Deborah Birx, I'm going to preface this because I'm a real wise ass about these things. The research is in, ladies and gentlemen, and here's the question. Can women keep a secret? And the answer is no, they cannot. On average, within 72 hours of having been told about something they're not to tell anybody, they've told myself, but So Dr. Birx couldn't help herself. She had to spill the beans in writing a book about her experience under Trump. And yeah, once again, this is a shout out to Brownstone Institute. Just great, great work. Okay, Jeffrey? And yeah, so there are many things to read here, and I don't have enough time to get into all of them. But as one example, she would put forth a proposal on what to do. It would be rejected. She would go back, rework it, reword it, and reorganize everything, but still the same information, present it again, and eventually a quote got through. Well, this doesn't speak well to the Trump administration, I have to say. But this is the kind of deceit in which she engaged. She's just a horrible woman. And I really hope she gets prosecuted. I really hope she gets thrown in jail. Her and Anthony Fauci. You know, it just, wow. Anyway, next one. Okay, we find that our vocabulary keeps getting limited more and more. So now we've got, no, you don't use the N-word. The N-word is not permitted. And now you do not use the G-word. But, I'm going to have to say the G-word. It seems that Reddit.com, now prohibits the use of the word groomer. How do you like that? They won't let you use the word groomer on their site. Truth hurts, doesn't it? So you can see when stuff like this is happening, this is obviously becoming a bigger and bigger issue. This redounds on everything that's happening in public education. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, homeschooling, get them out of there. And then the last item, or a last item, I'm almost there. Also, it's related to this. You have activists demanding that anthropologists cannot be allowed to determine whether or not some ancient skeleton that they find is either male or female. The reasoning? You don't know how they identified themselves. Wow. This is beyond stupid. Okay? Meantime, an egg a day can help maintain vitamin D levels, so everybody, make sure you have your eggs. And lastly, Connecticut Commie of the Week. Oh my goodness. This is an interesting one. Louise B. Simmons has a PhD. She went to MIT. She's in the social work department at UConn. She was on the awards committee for the Amistad Awards for 2021. Somehow she's a significant player. I'll tell you, I'm tempted to give her a call. But she has quite the bio. But what's interesting is you are hard-pressed to find anything in her bio that's even vaguely associated with communism, even though she served on this committee with communists. And this is the problem that just keeps showing up over and over again. In any event, I would like to close, of course, with some calls to action. Remember to donate, subscribe, and don't forget to check out our store. I didn't bring a copy with me, but Connecticut, it's CT, SANITNEL, ConnecticutSentinel.com. Go there, check it out, subscribe to Sally's site. She too is doing great work. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.